So let me follow up on this, and I'll start with Governor Richardson. This will be a 60-second answer. When are tax increases necessary and appropriate then? And given the current deficit, which of your priorities would be worth asking Americans to pay more for?
Well, I think the 2% for the wealthiest Americans, that is unfair, unequal. That would go in my objectives as president. I think we also, when we talk about balancing the budget, I've advocated a constitutional amendment. Obviously, you can't do it in the time of war, recession. You can't do it in the time of an emergency. I would exclude Social Security. But I think what is critically important is that when we talk about our most urgent national priority, the war, we've spent $500 billion in this war. And these are funds that could go to our domestic priorities, to health care, to kids, to education, to improving our schools, to rebounding also in terms of our national spirit. But fiscally responsible budgets, I believe, are critical for economic growth. And we use the tax structure to incentivize the economy, to give preference to solar, wind, and biomedical companies and aviation and companies of the future. I would take those steps as president, along with improving our education system, too. That will make us more competitive.
Thank you. Senator Edwards?
Well, I just want to add one thing to what Governor Richardson just said. I think the truth of the matter is that the tax policy in America has been established by big corporations and the wealthiest Americans. That's why we have tax breaks for the top 1% and 2%. It's why the profits of big corporations keep getting bigger and bigger while most working middle-class families are struggling. So what we ought to be doing instead is getting rid of these tax breaks for the wealthiest Americans, big tax breaks for companies that are actually taking American jobs overseas. This is insanity when we're losing American jobs at the rate we are today. And then on top of that, we need to help middle-class families. I have proposed specific ideas to help them save, to help them send their kids to college, and to make sure that they can pay for child care. All these things are aimed at making sure that we strengthen the middle class, that we can pay for things like universal health care. I mean, you can't have universal health care, and being honest with people, unless you have a way to pay for it, and this is how I would pay for it.
Senator Clinton, 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's important that we recognize how people feel in Iowa and across America. They feel as though they're standing on a trap door. They're one pink slip, one missed mortgage payment, one medical diagnosis away from falling through. I want to restore the tax rates that we had in the 90s. That means raising taxes on corporations and wealthy individuals. I want to keep the middle class tax cuts, and I want to start making changes that will actually save us money in our Medicare budget, save us money for the average American. You know, during the 90s, the typical Iowan family's income rose $7,000. We can get back to fiscal responsibility and economic growth again.